What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob, doing a head-to-head Hazelburn review here. I have to my right the Hazelburn 15 that was bottled in September of 2023. It's 55.8% fresh Oloroso sherry casks for this one entirely. All right, a decent color on that. Then over here on my left is a society release Springbank Hazelburn 16. Bottled at 50.8%. They're 350 milliliter bottles, which gives pretty much all of the society members in Canada the opportunity to try this. Again, that's 16 years old, and it looks to me like a fresh ruby port, but then again, maybe not entirely fresh ruby port casks because it would say that on the bottle. They usually put fresh if it is fresh, although the color would indicate that it is. 1,610 little bottles of this. All right, gonna nose both, taste both, give both a mark, but I will add a couple disclaimers. Number one, this was already included in my whiskeys of the year for 2024, meaning this will not enter, despite the score, into the 2025 running. It was number 2, spoiler alert. Very, very good stuff. I'm gonna tell you why in just a sec. And this doesn't have an opportunity to enter the whiskey of the year because it is a society release that not very many people can get. Okay. When we first opened this guy, I think I've told the story a few times. For those of you that don't know it, we opened it, thought we were drinking a Glenfarclas family cask, but not just any Glenfarclas family cask. Some of the better ones that we've tried. The nose is absolutely incredible on this. I mean, if you're buying a Hazelburn expecting to get Springbank Funk, you're taking a 50-50 chance. It's rolling the dice. You get it sometimes, you don't get it sometimes. You're better off, or more likely to anyway, get it on the 10-year-old, which is mostly bourbon cask, if not entirely. Okay, when you start to introduce heavy sherry casks like this, because Hazelburn is triple distilled, unpeated, you really lessen your chances of getting that Springbank Funk. On the nose, I'd be hard pressed to see anybody name this as a Hazelburn / Springbank in a blind tasting just on the nose. But absolutely beautiful, rich sherry notes. I'm very curious if there's some old stuff dumped into this cask vatting, just because it smells and drinks way older than it is. I bet if people were drinking this blind, on the nose it smells like it's 20 years old. The palate's phenomenal. If you're a sherry fan, you're gonna absolutely adore this. It's heavy on the sherry, so you're not getting a ton of Hazelburn, but you get a touch on the palate, and it's a much needed touch that really rounds this off into a more complex whiskey than just a sherry bomb. Honestly, this is delicious. Again, going back to the story about this Hazelburn, friend of mine, Silent Bob, as you guys may have come to know him if you're familiar with this channel, purchased one. I passed on mine. He opened his. We both tasted it. We're blown away. I immediately went to work and found myself a bottle. Took some hustling, but I got it. Love this stuff. One more sip and I'm gonna give it a mark, but I should probably give you guys some tasting notes. Dark, rich fruit. Dark chocolate. Something a little dirty on the back end. It's not sulfur. It's like a dirty sherry kind of note. Could be a little bit of that funk that we're talking about earlier. But I feel like that's coming more from the cask than distillate. It's sweet. On the finish, you get like raspberries. There's like a chocolate covered toffee kind of note. And then mid palate, bit of espresso. Really, really nice overall. That's a solid whiskey. I have to give this one an 89. Honestly, it's beautiful. Arguably even a 90. Probably a 90 actually. Really, really good. Damn. Honestly, it's crazy how this is why we keep going back to Springbanks, because you'll get a couple duds, you'll get some decent ones, you'll get some ones that are just a pass, but then they come out with something like this and they win all your respect right back as if it was never lost to begin with. So, like I said, that's probably a 90. It was under $200. And just to put that into perspective, if you were to buy a Glenfarclas family cask that tasted like this, it would probably be, for 15 years old, it would probably be close to $600 all in, once you get it shipped, delivered, all that stuff. Depending on where you are in the world, of course. I'm not sure if the States has cheaper prices on the family casks. They tend to jack up the ones for the family casks. They tend to jack up the expressions that are really, really good. I guess rightly so, but it's kind of a pain to drop $600 on, not kind of, it's ridiculous to drop that kind of money on a 15 to 18 year old. Buy these all day if you can find them. You're better off buying something like this in auction for $350 than buying a Glenfarclas family cask that tastes like this for double. Okay, so put that into perspective. Now, does Hazelburn go wrong sometimes? Well, let's check out this Ruby Port here on my left. Again, I believe that's cask strength at 50.8%, but I could be wrong. Okay, this one's like a tale of two things here. A tale of nose and taste. Because the nose is, there's zero sulfur detected on the nose. Zero. You know, like a nice strawberry note, chocolate covered strawberry. Even I would go as far as saying dark chocolate covered strawberry on the nose. Okay, on the palate. So, when it comes to heat, the port actually beats out the Oloroso 15. There's no heat whatsoever. At 50.8%, it drinks like it's an unchill filtered 43%. And I do have to say that the sulfur note that started, the matchstick kind of note that started this bottle when I first cracked it, is gone, which is very surprising. Okay, that's very strange. Okay, and that's drinking absolutely phenomenal right now. Let me go back to this one more time. Yeah, this is definitely a little hotter, the 15. So I should say that despite the heat on the 15, it's still a like close to a 90, if not a 90. 55.8% and 90% sure that this is cast strength. I'm gonna say 98% sure. It's probably cast strength. The 16 Ruby Port has drastically improved from when I first popped it. And I remember when Jeremy popped his, I got that sulfur note too, and I wasn't impressed. And we did a lineup on a rant of, I think it was all Hazelburns or all Springbank stuff. And the 15 made the 16 Port look silly. Now, after this has had some air, can honestly say that there's no heat, maybe the smallest touch of matchstick style sulfur on the palate. The nose is beautiful. It's kind of leaving me wanting, that's why I keep going back to it so quickly. Yeah, I would say that the palate's a little short on the finish, but still very tasty. I think these are probably evenly scored, honestly. Like when I first cracked this, I would probably have given it an 86. Now it's drinking closer to a 90. So the power of what air can do to a bottle. I would say that this drank better when it was first opened, and for whatever reason, maybe I don't know what the cause could be, but it's not as impressive. And I still gave it a 90, but not as impressive as it was when I first opened it, the first few drams out of it. Whereas this has gone the opposite way. It's better now than it was. So both a 90. I'm not gonna go crazy over here. They're both amazing. I'm trying to nitpick and find things that are wrong with them. I'd be very interested to know if anybody got this and didn't like it. This one, I think it's just gonna get better from here because it's already improved quite a lot from the first time I opened it. That's it for me, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can support this channel on Patreon. Cheers.